A few weeks ago I got contacted by the guys from National Geographic. They wanted to do a small interview with me, and now that the interview is published, I can talk about it and I can share with you my ideas on the challenges of a landscape photographer. Before I begin this video, just 2 seconds of your time. This is the week when I will start posting 3 videos per week, so it will be Monday video, Wednesday video, and then a Friday or maybe Saturday video. The third one I didn't decide yet. So let's get back to the video, to this video. Hope it's not confusing. During September, I was in the Dolomite Mountains for my workshop there, and I got an email from the guys from National Geographic. They wanted to do an interview about the challenges of a landscape photographer. Now, the interview is for National Geographic Romania, and that is why I decided to record this video, because I wanted to kind of share with you the ideas and my thoughts and, in a way, my answers from this interview. Now, this interview was divided in 3 main parts: the challenges of a landscape photographer according to me, and then what is the place where I will always return, and then, of course, tips and suggestions for a beginner photographer. Now, when it comes to challenges of a landscape photographer, my ideas may be a little bit different from other photographers, because for me, the biggest challenge is to be there at the right moment and to capture that place in the best light as possible. For me, the challenge starts when I have to wake up at 3 a.m., drive for 1 hour, and then hike through the darkness of the forest for about another hour just to be there. This is the challenge for me. Or I hike up on the mountain and photograph the sunset, and then I had 2 or 3 hours to hike down the mountain through the darkness. And this is the true challenge for me, because I'm doing all this by myself. I don't like photographing with other people. I tried in the past having other photographers with me, but it just doesn't work. It doesn't work for me, and mainly because I see something and I want to stay there. I completely change my plan because I don't want to go up for the sunset, because I think now this would be a much more interesting place to be. Or I rely only on myself when I go down in the darkness of the forest, and that is the true challenge for me, because you can do landscape photography in all sorts of landscapes. It doesn't mean that if you go up on the mountain you are better than the photographer that it's doing landscapes in the rural side, for example. It's not about that. It's just a way of thinking about landscape photography. It's just my way, and while I'm doing this, I need to constantly respect Mother Nature. There is no such thing as man against nature. There is only you, a tiny thing that is walking through this big thing that we call nature. And if you don't respect the wild animals, if you don't respect the dangers that nature has in store for you as a human being, then it's gonna be difficult for you to develop as a landscape photographer, because bad thing may happen to you. Now, in terms of what is the place where I will always return, it's a mountain in Romania that is called Chahlau Mountain, and it's kind of like a holy mountain, because many monks lived on that mountain, and that is the mountain where I first started landscape photography, and that got me into this game that it's called landscape photography. And it has something special. I don't know why, but it's special. It's like coming home. It's like visiting an old friend. It's like eating again a meal that you ate during childhood. It's something that I can't really explain, but it's a spiritual experience every time I hike that mountain. And the only moment when I'm gonna be really sad, it's the moment when I'll be old and I won't be able to hike up, and I will only remember those moments when I was up on that mountain. I don't know if you can see on the camera, but I get goosebumps just by thinking of that moment. Okay, sad moment, it's over. Let's talk about my tips for a beginner photographer, the tips that I shared in this interview. Every landscape photographer should start with a minimum of equipment. You should not start with buying everything that you see on the market, all the filters, the polarizer, the ND, the Gradual, the ND. You should have a camera, a kit lens, a tripod, and a trigger. This is the minimum that you need to have. And then the first filter that you should buy, it's the polarizer. And this is the advice, the technical advice. But then I think it's much more important for you to concentrate on the artistic aspect of your photography. And in that direction, my best advice for you would be that every photo that you do and you show it to someone, if that person that is looking at your photo asks, what did you want to photograph here? What is your subject? You should have an answer. You should have an answer for that question. And if that person says, oh, I thought you wanted to photograph that, and that it's not equal to what you said, then you have a problem. You really do have a problem. You need to address it. You need to adjust your composition skills. You need to adjust your subject picking skills. But this is the best advice that I can give to you as a beginner photographer. Always ask yourself, what am I trying to photograph here? How am I trying to capture it? Is the composition that I'm creating really sustaining my subject, or is really sustaining another thing? Or there is another thing in the photo that attracts the eye more than my subject. So, hope you find this video useful / inspirational maybe. But if you have other questions, if you have things to say, just use the comment section below. If you're new here, please consider subscribing to this YouTube channel and maybe share it with your friends. And until next time, keep on photographing. It's the only way that you can get better. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye! I don't know if this ending was good, but I was lacking ideas to end the video. So bye-bye.